Welcome, Ma. Thank you for coming on board. Let me share the link
Hi, good afternoon.
out now.
I'm wondering if 3 o'clock was a good time.
Yes, it is. They're on YouTube waiting for you, but I couldn't share the Zoom link until you
Okay, okay, okay.
were in.
Okay.
Okay, welcome everyone. I see you on YouTube. Welcome. She's now in. I'm also sharing the Zoom link on YouTube. So if you can get in fast, you should. I have just pinned the link to YouTube. We're not going to waste so much time. The Heels in Tech conversations are conversations that are outside technology, but are instrumental to the skills you are learning and who you're becoming, and that can help you um, accentuate and actually apply and manage whatever it is you're getting from the tech industry. We've had a previous conversations bordering around health with Miss Aino of the Radiate Labs. And then we're having today Miss Ifeoma, who will be taking us through financial literacy. In our next conversation, we'll be having some conversations. Miss Aino took us around skincare. We'll be having some conversations around health with Health Stack Africa. So I'm not going to waste so much of our time because we're going to stay within 1 hour so you can ask her questions like she promised. I'll just hand over now to Miss Ifeoma Uddoh.
Hi, everyone. Hope you're having a great week. And again, I'm excited to be here, and I'm excited to know that from my experience, maybe I can change and improve somebody's lives. And basically, that's why I take my time to do most of this stuff. So today we're going to be talking about finance, and I'll make it as personal as possible for your personal finance. And one of my strong points, again, is always making it um, sharing my own personal journey and showing you the financial literacy steps in each of those part in each on each stage on different stages of my journey, and I hope that it helps you. And yeah, I think that's it. So let me start from the beginning and how I started having a relationship with money. So my first relationship with money came when I did internship, my second year internship at EcoBank, and I was paid 9,000 naira, and I was excited because after I was paid 9,000 naira, I went home, and I just felt like I'd arrived. You know how it is now when you earn your first 9,000 naira. Gosh, it's just a validation that you're a human being. So after that, by my fourth year, I had to do another IT again, and while other people in my department were looking for where to do IT 9,000 or for free because they had not done in their second year, I was looking for where to double my income, and I got Diamond Bank at 20,000. So by the time I finished school and came out, every other person was looking for a job. I was looking for a good paying job. So step number one, you have to you have to um you have to make sure that, sorry, one second. Sorry, my kids just came back from school and they just opened the door. So step number one for financial literacy is that for you, you've learned tech skills now. Before you even choose where to specialize, and before you choose that job or that company to go, ask yourself, how much do you want to earn, and have a budget? If you don't have a budget, if you don't know how much you want to earn, if you're not targeting to say, I want to learn the top performing skills, chances are that you're going for something below your reach. You're aiming too low. So let me give you an instance. One day I was talking to, one lady I met on Facebook. And when I was talking to her, she said, hey, she's an accountant. And I was proud. I was like, wow, accounting. So what do you want to do now that you finish school and stuff? And she said, I want to be a secretary. And at that moment, it shocked me, or maybe somebody's a secretary or somebody's PA, just like a DEX officer or something. At that moment, it shocked me that here I was working in PwC as a graduate trainee in mathematics with a degree in mathematics. And here is an accountant, and all she can see for herself is to become a secretary in the East. So, first things first, before you choose that top skill, financial literacy is understanding that the first thing that I've seen with women is that women don't even have enough income. So, choose high paying technology skills, choose high paying jobs. I was talking to my team. I was having a team meeting this morning, and during the team meeting, it just occurred to me that most people that have worked in our company for the last 1 year has had an over 100% increase in salary. So, those that came on 100 and maybe 10, they're currently earning like 280. So if you don't intentionally look for companies that maybe the head of the company wants to grow, or the company, that they have a growth path, or just things that show that your salary is good, you send your CV to everywhere. So you need to shortlist. And that's the first thing I did when I finished school. I shortlisted where I wanted to work, wrote out the salary I wanted to earn, and I started searching. So be very, very targeted. So that's step one, about being sure and making sure you have the right entry point when it comes to your income. So I started working at PwC. I was excited. I got into PwC, did the hard work, passed the test. Remember, yes, to get good, high-paying jobs and to remain on them, you need to always improve yourself. So when I got in there, I was there for I think 2, 3 years, and something told me that hey, I wanted to go, I wanted to earn more. And when I wanted to earn more, I started saying, how do people earn more? They said, oh, either they move to another job or they go for a master's. And I started thinking to myself, hey, a master's won't be bad. And that's when I applied for a master's and got a scholarship and went. So point two on financial literacy. I know that this financial literacy, before we get to the part where you like stocks, bond and stuff, I'm telling you the basis of it. If all you earn is 60K every month for the next 3 years, you will not have money to invest. Trust me. So step two, always upskill. So now that you've gotten into that place that you want, the next thing you do is upskill. Are you upskilling? If you're not upskilling, there is a chance that you are deskilling. And that happens very often. So always look for room to upskill, to learn new skills. Especially, this is a girls' conference. So I'm assuming that many people here will be female or identify as female. Especially if you're a woman, like your 20s are one of those years where you can gain momentum. Because in your 20s, if you're not married, you don't have kids at the time, you just say hi, you learn as much as possible, work as much as possible, and be able to gain momentum from when you slow down. I know that when I look at myself, I feel like myself in my 20s, maybe 22, I can work till forever because I did not have any responsibility. So upskill, upskill, upskill. Getting a master's and coming back increased my salary by like what, 100%. So when I upskilled and I came back, I started looking for what was the hottest thing around town. I did not just go and say, okay, let me just go back to what I know. I said, what was the hottest thing? So again, an inquisitive mind, a rich mind, a wealthy. I have never seen a rich person that is not inquisitive. I've talked to. I think that's one of the that's one of the shockers that I got, is that every time I talk to rich people, like very wealthy people, there's something about them. Either they are very well organized, very well, they're very well organized, one, they're very well knowledgeable, and they're very well, like these things that maybe your average family or your average parents don't have, they have it. So always look out. When I came back, I was looking out for where did I want to work in, what did I want to do? And that's when I got introduced into tech. And that's how I started building my career in tech. Um, I got my first job in tech, my second job in tech, my third job in tech. And moving forward and taking it back to my last job before I started Shicluded. At my last job, I noticed I was working in an indigenous company, and I noticed something. Um, Before the month end, they were having, like many people there will have run out of money. So one day, the guy sitting next to my office, the guy sitting next to me, I mean, we became close. He was also a senior manager. He said, "Hey, you are always having money in your account." And I said, "Yes." He said, "Why do you keep it in your account?" And I said, "I don't know what to do with it. Like, I mean, it's my money, so it's in my account." And he said, "Why don't you invest it?" And I said, "Invest. What is that?" He said, "That I can even do, even if it's mutual funds and stuff, that, just something that would make sure the money was working." And for me that year, I remember putting over 4 million in mutual stocks and making over 400K. And I was thinking to myself, wow, this is what I've been missing. And that's how I got into investing. And I found out that just keeping your money in the bank is a big, big disservice to you. So I started with, just by that advice, I got is it a Stanbic IBTC? I can't remember. Yeah, or FBN. FBN. I went to First Bank, opened a First Bank mutual fund account, and I started investing. And it made me become more aware that one of the things that you should do as soon as you start making money is to make sure that your money is not lazy. You cannot be lazy and your money is lazy. You are wasting your life. So your money has to work for you. And one of those things that I found was investing. So I started investing in mutual funds. And because I wanted to be careful, I went with the big names, FBN, Stanbic, IBTC. And over time, the people in the office, sometimes they will say, "Hey, hi, lend me money for this." And I would give them, and month end, as soon as they pay salary, they'll give it to me. So um, with investing, there's something that comes with investing. The more I started investing and I started making returns, the more I wanted to learn how to invest. Can everybody hear me? If you can hear me, can you type yes on the chat? Because I'm trying to look at the chat and I don't know if there is a problem on my end or whether it's from your end. Okay, thank you, Benny. I can hear you. So I wanted to say, as soon as I started investing, I realized something. One is the fact that, I mean, think about it. I had over 4 million. This has been in my account for a long time. And I was able to make 400 and something thousand. That was free money. Then I increased it, then I made another money, then I made another money. Then it now made me realize that, wait a minute, investing, what is investing? And start researching on investing and creative ways to invest. And that's how I became an investor. And guess what investing does for me? Investing is one of the reasons why I started Shicluded, because think about it. I started giving out money to women and I said, "Hey, pay me back with an interest." That's investing. So when it comes to investing, I want to sell and I want to share some basics to investing. There's a myth that people have that is only rich people that invest. And I want you to know that as a poor person, if they say anything that is only rich people that do, please go and do it. If they say it's only rich people that go to Ikoyi, to Eco Hotel, please go to Eco Hotel. If you don't know what to buy, buy water. Water is 1,000 naira. And sit down and look. Train yourself to know that if they say anything is for the elite, do it. And that's one thing that I wish I'd learned earlier about investing. So back to investing. What is investing? Investing is just putting your money to work to make a return. So to invest, there's some key fundamentals to investing you have to know. Some of them is that investing, you can invest your time. I mean, if you work and you get paid, you're obviously investing your time. You can invest your money, which is, basically what the investing your money in different things does. And you can also invest your talent. Something like maybe something close to what I'm doing with She Clothed. So with investing money, the first key basics to always know is that if it sounds too good, you know how they say bring 10,000 naira, get 100,000. If it sounds too good, if it's only poor people that used to do it, please don't do it. So I hope you're writing all this down. So when you go now, it's like it's only poor people. You're hearing this around poor people, and they're the only ones that used to do it. Please don't do it. It's a Ponzi scheme, it will blow. Before you invest, you have to have a strategy for investing. And one of those strategies is the fact that you have to diversify your money. So let me give you an example. You earn 100K. If you earn 100K every month, because you know that you earn 100K every month, I'm hoping that you try and say, hey, from this 100K every month, the first thing I want to do is maybe pay myself. And paying yourself, you take the money you want to pay yourself and invest it. Paying yourself is necessarily investing in your future self. So once you get your money, you pay your tithes and you say, hey, I want to invest in myself, whether it's 10,000 naira or 5,000, you take it and put it in an investment portal. Whether it is, say, I want to invest in American stocks, or whether it's I want to invest in a mutual fund. A mutual fund is usually the easiest way to start. And you say you want to put it there for some time. With investing money, you cannot put all your eggs in one basket. Like investments, the goal of an investor, a correct investor, is to make money most of the time. But the truth about investment is that sometimes you can actually lose money. But your goal as a very good investor is to say, hey, I want to make money most of the time. And that is what you should be able to do. And the way to be able to do that is to be informed. One, always make sure that you're dealing with reputable companies. When I mean reputable companies, how do you find a reputable company these days? Sometimes you just Google them. Sometimes you go and look them up on LinkedIn. Sometimes you read and say, what do they really do? I mean, I was reading online about one Ponzi scheme that one lady was doing, and I was thinking to myself, how did people not spot it? And that's like, again, like I said, if it's too good to be true, um, if it's too good to be true, or if you can't understand it, or you don't see rich people talking about it and stuff, um, you don't want to you don't want to be involved there. So diversifying your portfolio. So you can to diversify your portfolio, it depends on how much you have, it depends on what your goal and what your risk level is. So I'll give you, for example, my own portfolio. So what does my investment portfolio look like? I have Bitcoin and NFT. So I think that for digital currencies, I only invested, let's say, close to 2 million because I don't understand it. So for me, it was just gambling. Um, and for me, it was not a short-term stock, it was more of a long-term. So for example, because they said in the next 5, 10 years, Bitcoin will be it. So I'm doing it and I'm playing for a long term. So when you look at my strategy for digital coin, I'm thinking long term in the future. Um, I also have stocks in the US. I use Bamboo app. Um, Let me put it here. There's a lot of them. I think I've just seen Rise Vest and stuff. So I just think about it and I buy stocks in the US stock market. The first, if I'm to make a recommendation and say what kind of stocks or what should you invest in, I would advise that you invest in ETFs. ETFs are sort of like a pool of companies that come together. So if you're buying ETF, it means that maybe you're buying Amazon, blah, blah, blah. Maybe they'll list, maybe they'll put like 20 or 30 companies together. And that that's what it is. So so does anybody have any question for that? Does anybody have any question? Are you guys with me?
Yes, on YouTube. Yes, on YouTube. Someone said, "Does Bitcoin really work?"
So again, for me, frankly, um, I am betting. So for me, when I think about digital currency, it's sort of like a bet in the future. I've seen the importance in the way that why people think that it would go viral or why people think it's the next biggest thing. I mean, think about it. If I want to move money from here to America and I want to move it like with a snap of a finger, the easiest way to move that money is through Bitcoin. And for me, it's if I want to move money to America or something through Ethereum. So I see why people believe that it will stay. I've heard a number of big companies. I mean, you've seen Tesla, you've seen different big companies say, "Hey, hi, we are holding some small, whatever Bitcoin on our balance sheet." So I personally, my experience with it is my experience with it is I buy it and I keep it and I spend, like I said, diversify your portfolio. I only put like maybe 2% of my net worth there so that if it goes, I will not cry. But if it becomes big, I will rejoice. So that's how I see it. Why did I do it? For me, again, when I'm telling people about Bitcoin, please do your neighbor will come and say they are selling Bitcoin or there's one boy that sells Bitcoin. Anything you cannot go and sign up, the way you sign up for Facebook, for Instagram, and sign up by yourself, put your card and buy by yourself. Please don't do it. Before I started investing in crypto myself, I know there was this girl that came and said, blah, blah, blah. I gave her money up to today. Man, I don't know what happened. So that thing taught me to know that anything you cannot buy by your own self through the laptop by your own self is not worth it. Does that make sense? Somebody asked about ETF. So ETF, take ETF as how will I describe it? So there are some people that came and said, "Hey, I want to form a company." Whether it's VOO, I think a popular one is VOO. And VOO is a collection of 50 stocks. Maybe in those 50 stocks, there's Apple, there's Unilever, there's Tesco, there's McDonald's, 50 stocks portfolio. So they'll put it together and they'll call it VOO, the name of their company. And they will say, "Hey, put your fund with us." And if you put out your funds with us, would all the returns from all this portfolio will share it. So I noticed that over time, those kind of portfolio, those kind of companies, they perform better than just buying a single Apple stock. Do you get what I mean? I have Apple stock. I have what else do I have? I have I can't remember. Yeah, like most of these tech companies, their stocks. But for me, again, why do I keep it? One is that when I buy it on Babu, I sort of like use it to hedge dollars. So for example, there was a time I bought some stocks. When I bought them, the currency was 470. So it means that even if those stocks don't do well, as I am if those stocks remain as it is and they pay me back that money, dollars gone to 500 and something. So I made money from currency fluctuations. And that's one thing I wanted to say about devaluation. The two things when you're looking at your finances, you should be fighting, or you should know that you're fighting, is inflation and devaluation. Inflation is just price of things going up, whether due to supply chain problem, fertilizer problem, farm problem, whatever it is, they're just going up. And devaluation is when maybe for some reason, because your government is not making the right decision, your currency keep going down. And one of the best ways that I know that a number of rich people try to hedge themselves is that they try to save in dollars. So if there's anything they want to do, and they want to do it maybe by next year, by this time next year, they just keep all the money that they need in dollars till next year. Does that make sense? So just looking at this thing, somebody said, do you trade currencies and forex? No, I don't. I don't know anything about forex. The only thing I know about forex, one time somebody told me forex. I gave the person money. Up to today, I've not seen that person money. Again, my rule of investment is that anything I cannot go online and do, anything that looks unprofessional, I do not engage in it. I do not do it. So yeah, so that's it for me. What
As
does
someone is asking on YouTube, or quite a number of people, please, they said, can you shed more light on mutual funds and can they put as low as $10 for a start?
Yeah, so mutual funds are, so let me explain mutual fund in layman terms. So let's say, for example, there's a land in Lekki. That land is 300 million. If farmer wants to buy that land, but guess what? If farmer does not have 300 million. But guess what? If farmer has 300 million women. So I'll come and say, hey, this is a mutual fund. So it's a fund to raise 300 million. So what do I want from you? Or what do I want? I want everybody to donate 1,000. So because it's a 300 million, people are donating 1,000. So it will now sort of like de-risk everybody, true of us. So when I now get that 300 million, maybe I'll go and use and buy that land. I'll now keep that land. Maybe in the next 6 months, that land will be 320 million. I will now sell that land, or I will still keep it. Maybe somebody in that my mutual fund, those 300 women that have donated 1,000, one person will come and say, hey, I want to withdraw my own 1,000. I want to withdraw my own money. I don't want again. So I will now say, okay, to withdraw and to close your own money, I'll give you 1,013 naira. So I'm paying her what I think the land is worth, her own portion of what the land is worth at that time. Does that make sense? So for mutual funds, that is in layman terms how it works. It's a collection, you're putting together funds to be able to do something, to trade. The more you put together funds to be able to do something, the more capital you have, and it will be cheaper. So companies that do it, there are a lot of companies, very big companies, from very big companies to small companies that do it, from ARM to FBN. Like if you type mutual funds in Nigeria, you see many of them. ProShare, FDS, FSDH, Stanbic, IBTC, any of them. That's what they do. So I hope I've been able to answer your question.
Yes, thank you. Then another question they're asking, I think quite a couple of people, then can you please explain what ETF is?
Yeah, so I've told you that ETF is, let's say, for example, me and Excellence. So let me tell you how ETF is done. So me and Excellence, we come because we are investment bankers. We say, see, over the years, I've studied trends and I know stocks that perform and I want to choose them, let's say 50 stocks. So let's say I choose Coca-Cola, Apple, Unilever, blah, 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 blah. I'll put them together. So when I put them together, I will now say, okay, so the name of this my company is VOO. So I will say I'm trying to raise $1 billion to be able to buy stocks and sell. So when you give me that $1 billion, I will share it and distribute it in a ratio across all those stocks the way I want, based on the fact that we have information. So what that does is that at the end of the day, you are not investing in maybe just Apple, you're investing in a bunch of stocks. So because of it, sometimes it tends to have outperform. Whenever you want to collect your money, you actually collect your capital plus the return. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Thank you.
Somebody still asking me about forex trading. My sister, I don't know how it works.
Maybe she just
Um,
joined.
so so people are so there's always, again, I always tell you, anything that is always like poor people. Let me tell you, one of the greediest people on earth that I've realized is rich people. Poor people think they are greedy, are not greedy. Rich people are very greedy. So anything that plenty rich people are not doing, you should know that there's not too much light there. Okay, so moving on, we've talked about mutual funds, we've talked about ETF and dollar investment and just being able to invest in dollars. We've also talked about different forms. So locally, there are also different forms of or different types of investment, even within your place. There are some of you that maybe you live where there are, I don't know if people have heard about oil storage, like things in agriculture, from storing of orange to storing of harvest and selling it at peak periods and stuff. So anything that involves you being able to make your money to work is actually called an investment. So yeah, I feel that at this point, I would like to take questions and stuff. Again, I didn't want to go into too much. I want this to be as basic, like, financial literacy 101 for you, so that you understand the fundamentals before you go online to start saying, hey, what is investing? What can I really invest in? Where should I put my money and stuff? And be looking at things like bonds. So there's government bonds. So a lot of people invest in like Euro bonds. People invest in like Nigerian bonds. So whatever it is, there are so many options. For you, I think you just look at one, the interest rate. You look at the duration of the tenor, because some of them will say, "Oh, you can't break it," and just sort of like go with it. So let me know. So question time.
Please, if you have questions on you, just put it on the chat. I'll just ask her here. Okay, someone says, can you explain more about inflation and devaluation, please?
So inflation is Inflation is a thief. How can I explain it? So, before pure water was 5 naira. Then all of a sudden it became 10 naira. Then now I hear it's 15 naira, or something. Or before, you were buying pineapple. Oh, you were buying egg. Egg was 13 naira. Then it's 15 naira. Then now it's 18 naira. So inflation is just the same money, but it's buying you less. So that is inflation. So if you notice that based on the Nigerian economy, every year you get poorer by 25%, which is a combination of inflation and devaluation. So if you're earning 100,000 naira this year, and by next year you've not changed it, that 100,000 naira, even though you are still collecting 100,000, but what you can actually buy is something worth 85,000 naira. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay. In terms of devaluation, devaluation is still some of the fact that everything in Nigeria is imported. So devaluation sort of like um, accounts for how much you are losing based on the fact that nothing is happening, just that the dollar itself is gaining more. So for example, if you had 100 naira and devaluation based on the person that is importing rice, the person used to import it at 50 naira, and now the person is importing it at 18 naira. So automatically that 13 naira more that the person is paying, the person is passing it to you. So it means that your rice will no more be 100 naira, it will be 130.
Mm, thank you. Someone is asking, please, can you recap on the apps you suggested for them to buy stocks?
So I say I use bamboo. Some people say they use rice vests. So there are different other apps. My brother in the US said he use eToro or something. So depending on where you are, just Google like trade US stocks online and see what companies come up. And I mean, if you can share it with me, I can just take a look and know if I've heard about the company.
Okay, thank you. I think those are the questions for now. How does
Okay, so
one go bankrupt? What does bankruptcy mean?
bankruptcy is a term. I think that bankruptcy is so in Nigeria, even though most people are bankrupt, they don't declare it. But in America, because of tax and everything, you always have to, like when you become bankrupt, you always have to declare it. Sorry, I'm
Okay.
currently um, on the road. So
Oh,
bankrupt is when you actually go out of money. You know how you're like, I cannot afford this, dead, or the money did not come, and you are what's it called? You are not up for it. Do you get? So you cannot afford or keep up to your financial responsibility, and maybe you have debtors, you have creditors, you have people to pay. So declaring, like in America, once you file for bankruptcy, it means that everybody um, thinks about how to wind down the company. They think about how to account for those payments in their book. The government thinks about what to do, what not to do, and stuff. It's just like, I don't have money again. These things are not working. I have plenty of wasted. So um, um, I need to pay them, but I can't. So the law should step in.
mm, okay, thank you. I think that's those are the questions. Well, thank
So
you
it
very
says,
much, Ma.
somebody says, if the stock you buy um, um, plummet or something. I'm thinking it goes down. So yes, I think that that's one thing I should say when you are trading or you're buying stocks. So with most technology platforms, they've put a trigger to say that once I lose 5% or 10%, sell. Does that make sense? So for example, if you invest $1,000 on a shares and the share price goes to like maybe $900 or 900 or $800, you can actually set to the system to say sell immediately. So let me give you an example. I invested in Virgin, this Virgin. So I didn't invest in Tesla. I'm not sure why, but you know how the Virgin guy, Richard Branson, I just felt he's doing his own Tesla. So I felt it would do well. So I went to put my money there. Um, and something happened. I did not check it for a long time because typically I'm that kind of investor that when I invest those kind of money, I don't like going to look at it every day because you just look like nothing is happening. One day I now went there and noticed that I've lost 50% of my money. So I started doing research to know what happened. Apparently, I think they did not grant them the license. They did not finish what they are doing. So their share price, the investors started pulling out. Then Richard Branson sold 300 million worth of his stock. Different things happened. So my learning point from that when I was talking to one of my friends is the fact that, one, when you invest in companies, as much as possible, stay up to date with what they're doing. Then two is that make technology protect you. So set things like maybe if it's 10% fall or 5% fall or 15%, just sell. Do you get what that means?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but one thing with the stock market, like, so for now, I mean, everybody's like the stock market is down. So it's down now. But like I told you, investing sometimes, especially investing in the US stock market, sometimes a long-term game. So imagine those that invested in Amazon 10 years ago. Some of them that put like $1,000, they'll tell you that they are now on like what, maybe almost $1 million just by investing and compounding it together. So
Okay,
anyway,
thank you. Someone said, what does buying of stocks or mutual is it really necessary?
what does what?
What does buying stock and mutual funds do for us in the future? Is it really necessary?
Um, so if you have a better way to invest your money, I mean, some people do business, so they invest their money in business. Some people, as in the idea is that you need to, if you need to make your money work for you when you are sleeping. So for now, we've identified a few ways that people have. I mean, when you look at the world richest man, Warren Buffett, when you even look at Elon Musk and see like how he's saying, no, I'm investing in Twitter, I'm investing in Bitcoin, I'm investing in this. It shows you like the trend for the richest men, what they do. They make money and then they invest. But if you have your own personal way of investing the money, please make sure you do. But again, in all that you do, diversify. So don't go and invest all your money in one single thing.
Hmm. Okay. Thank you, Ma. Please, what would be your final words to us before we wrap up?
So my final words to you is that your money, a lot of, so I work with a lot of women. And sometimes when they meet me, I think there's this video that was trending sometime last week, where they were showing some women in the church singing and carry me, they go, my husband house. I don't know, did anybody see it here? Eh?
Yeah.
Did anybody see it here?
Yes, we
Did
did.
anybody see? Okay, so for me, I noticed one thing in that video. These people are not looking for people like them that don't have house. Does that make sense? Most of the time, when women
Yeah.
say they are looking for husband, they are looking for another house. They are looking for another life. And that's why they go from
What is
maybe
wrong with
like that's why
yeah, management?
in Africa, where many women do not have the opportunity to maybe leave school. So in America, I mean, you can leave school at 18 and go and live by yourself, so you know that you like pink bedsheet, you know that you like a house like this, a flat like this. So you sort of like have independence. But many women don't ever have the opportunity. So they're always thinking from my father's house to my husband's house. And they get there and realize that their dreams will not come true. So my parting word for you is that money is a very, very important part of what you experience in life. A lot of women will never travel. Why would they never travel? They will never travel because maybe their husband will never be able to afford a flight ticket. That's a horrible life to live. Let it be that you did not travel because you did not want to travel. Like, take a shot at the life that you want. Because guess what? You have everything in you to achieve it. You want to go to Maldives, you want to sit down in fancy hotels, you want to buy good things. Guess what? The surest person that will give it to you is you. You want to live in a house that is nice. If you marry a guy that has some of those things and you even bring your own, it will be that means you are making the cake and the icing sweeter. So take your financial life very seriously. The way that you are taking your chasing husband life, the way you are taking your other life, your idling away life, your gossip life, make sure you take your financial life easy. Learn about finance. Like I've told you some points, which I've always said, sort for high paying skills, show up, apply for them, sort for companies that are always growing and evolving, should upskill when possible, invest, learn investment, co-invest with people, diversify your investment, and enjoy your life. So that's my final words.
Mm. Thank you very much, Ma. Thank you. Wow, this is deep.
So have a
Thank
nice
you
day.
so much. Thank you very much, Ma. Have a nice evening.
You too. Bye.
I hope everyone got value from the class. I will share the link, and Secluded has a platform for young ladies in their 20s, a financial literacy platform. Those in cohort 5 already have this link, but if you're in this cohort, I'll try to put it in the YouTube description later after this call. So you can come back to the replay and just click on the link to join the Telegram group where you get more information and tips to aid your financial journey in the financial space, and make sure that your money is in checks, especially in your 20s. Starting early, it's very important. And even in the 20s, it's not so early, but it's not a bad place to start. So, thank you everyone for joining us today. And I wish you a very wonderful evening. Bye.